What's up, everyone? My name is Joe Cox, and thank you for tuning in to Joe C. Cox Photo. As always, we do have a new plan for the video. Second, this is going to be an unscripted video. And third, this video is going to be covering my own personal workflow. So there will be some things included, some things excluded. But in case you missed the last video we covered, you can find that on the screen now. That video, we were working in Adobe Lightroom, specifically covering that bottom navigational bar down at the very bottom. Today's video is still working in Adobe Lightroom, specifically the library module, and we are going to be covering that right column. So let's go ahead and dive on in. First thing you will notice is up top, we are in the library module, and today we're going to be covering this right side. So up at the very top, we are going to start with histogram and select a photo. Now, when we did select a photo, you'll notice some information came up in our histogram, and our histogram is doing two main things. It's giving us our camera info, and it's giving us our basic exposure reading. So diving back in, you'll see our basic camera info associated to that photo down at the bottom. You'll also notice that it is giving us our exposure reading, and I will kind of give you some examples. But with this photo of the leaf, as you can see, there's a lot of darks and shadows in there. And so that will briefly explain also how to read this. So we do have our darks over on the left, which we're seeing a lot of. And then moving right, we've got our shadows. In the middle, we've got our midtones. Over here, we've got highlights. And on the far right, we've got whites. So with this photo selected, you will notice we're deep in the darks and shadows. If we went over to, let's say, this photo, you'll notice we're way deep in the darks and whites. And if we went to this photo, we're a little bit more properly exposed, if I can say that. And the reason I say that is because we are much more balanced between highlights, midtones, and shadows here, with not a whole lot going on in the blacks and nothing going on in the whites in this case. But yeah, proper exposure is usually a nice balanced arc between your shadows, midtones, and highlights. So that will kind of cover our histogram. I will go more in depth on that when we move into the develop module, but that's going to cover it for today. Moving down, we do now have quick develop, and quick develop's nice because you can just make some quick editing through the library module. So we do have saved preset, white balance, and tone control. You will notice all of them are currently dropped down. So with them being dropped down, you do have a few more control options, but starting at saved preset, first thing you'll notice is we do have all these supplied presets that Adobe came up with, so we could apply any of these. But anyways, additionally, you can automatically crop your photo or treatment, or the color treatment, so you can turn it from a color photo to black and white if you wanted to. Moving into white balance, you'll notice currently it's as shot, so what the camera recorded, or you do have some other options as well as custom, and these are all preset options. Or you could do a manual control, so you do have a temperature and tint control. Moving into our tone control, first at the top, you could hit this auto, and Lightroom will apply an auto tone, which it perceives as creating the proper exposure for the photo. Or you can go down and manually adjust any of these settings. Whenever you see the single bar, or single arrow I should say, that's going to be a small change, whereas the double arrow is going to be a big change. And you can see by hovering over any of these exactly what it is going to do.
Hey you! Yes you! Quick announcement for the video. Did you know I make merch like coffee cups so you can always be sipping your favorite drink? Hoodies so you can always be looking stylish? Or even wall art to make sure that any room you're in feels like home? And there's so much more, and the best part is it's always getting added to. So not only do your contributions help improve this channel and further educate more people, but also a portion of those proceeds go to supporting the Simplify in America's Fund. So what are you waiting for? Go check out the link below and make sure you get after some of that cool merch. But I love you, you're beautiful people, and always remember that. Now, let's get back to the video.
But anyways, moving down now, we are getting into keywording, and keywording is strictly going to be there for organizational and navigational purposes. So when you get into like a catalog of 10 to 20,000 photos, you need ways to be able to jump to photo selections real quick, and that is what keywording is aimed to do. So I did go ahead and previously add some keywords just so you could see kind of down here what is happening. But with this photo, you'll notice it doesn't have any keyword tags. If we wanted to, you just have to go in and begin typing. So we already have a leaf. Let's go ahead and type nature up here. If we hit enter, it has now applied a keyword to that photo. We know because this little keyword tag has appeared on our photo. So additionally, you could go to keyword suggestions. There again, it is Lightroom suggesting specific keywords that it kind of perceives or picks up. So that can be anything from recently used keywords, or it can kind of like analyze your photo, and it's kind of intuitive in that sense. And then this keyword set is kind of interesting because you can make different sets of keywords. So right now it is just on our recent keywords, but if you wanted to, you could go to outdoor photography, which would contain all of these, and you could quickly apply these to a photo, or you could even go in and make your own preset keyword sets. That's going to cover up there for us for now. I guess I will go in one more and just kind of show you we could type elephant and it auto applies that keyword for us. Moving down to keyword list, strictly a list of keywords that have photos attached or associated to them. Metadata is kind of cool. Right now it is on a default kind of preset list or category, if you will, that Adobe has applied us with. If you wanted to, you could go in and make your own metadata presets and apply them here. Additionally, moving down, so there again, this is the default, so it's displaying our file name and folder. No title or caption. The copyright and creator are actually coming in directly from my camera, so these are written in with every photo I take. There is no rating on the photo that I have selected. That would change if I just went over. And then you can also see the capture date and dimensions of the file. Moving into comments, there are no comments that are supported here, so I'm not going to be covering that today. But I do want to talk about this sync, which will specifically sync metadata, and this sync settings, which will sync any develop settings. So let's go ahead and with this leaf photo selected, go up into quick develop. We're going to go ahead and drastically change our temperature, drastically change some exposure, and we'll make the blacks a lot darker. So with that applied, now we're going to go into our preview or catalog over here. I'm going to hold shift and click on this photo right here. And by holding shift and clicking, it just selected all three of those photos. Moving down, we'll start with the sync metadata first. So if we went to sync, we could sync all the metadata for all of those photos selected. We're not going to do that. Additionally, you do have this little enable auto sync. So if that was applied, any photos you have selected would be automatically synced together based on metadata. But this sync settings, if you click that, you'll notice it lets you synchronize all these different settings across photos. So you can check all or check none. We're going to go ahead and check all. There again, we only did a treatment and profile with our white balance and a few basic things. But if we synchronize all three of those photos, you'll notice these two photos just got the same applied develop settings as this photo had. So that is going to cover our video today. There again, we covered that right side in Adobe Lightroom. Very useful stuff to know. Pretty kind of short video, not overly short. But thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate you. As always, don't forget to subscribe. I am releasing a ton of information left and right now. So yeah, I don't want you to miss out. But thank you again, and I will catch you next time.